Alright everyone, sorry about that. We are live from Tier 2 and Performance Racing League here at Baku. It is currently qualifying with about 9 minutes left with Justin leading 1.26. Currently watching Rusty go on his outlap as he's about to get everything set for his last. And as he crosses the line, so does a stopwatch. DRS slamming shut while he's on the brakes. Very clean out of turn 1 here. Clean into turn 2 as well, pushing the limits on the wall there. DRS wide open, getting that extra bit of speed down the main straight. Or, shot us at the second point. Very tidy through here. He trusts his setup a lot. Not a lot of rear slipping from his setup here. Very, very tight and through here. Looking good. Alright, that should be a little bit better. Voice-wise and sound effect-wise as well. A little bit of rear slip in there for Rusty as he comes out of Sector 2. Still looking like a pretty fast and clean lap here. With Highscran having some kind of difficulty. And that is P10 right now with a 144 almost flat. Ooh, he goes just a little bit wide there. Alright, who else is on a hot lap here? Looks like Villeneuve is also on his hot lap coming out of Sector 2. Unfortunately, looks like from his delta he's 2/10 down, so I don't think he's going to make much back up, and he'll probably pull into the pits here to save the life on these tires. You really don't want to use too many sets right now, or you don't want to use too many sets today to be safe on it, as he continues anyways. And does not improve on his time. Looks like W. Butler into the pits, and DRS backing off of his lap. Sparkplug probably on his in lap here. And I'm missing something. Greg also wanted in lap. Let's see. Looks like our championship leader should be the next to start a hot lap here. Check. Oh, I believe I'm wrong. I think that should be Rusty coming into the pits with Tar Heel getting a good tow and starting his lap here. As we have one of the Mercedes coming out, hopefully there's no trouble here. No funny business. Oh, all clean. Tar Heel looking very clean through here. Little bit of rear sliding, but he got it before any kind of wall contact with DRS open, getting that extra couple miles an hour of speed to go. And Rusty's out. That's odd. I wonder why he'd retire in the pits. As Tar Heel, oh, it's his first lap, so you can't ever really trust it, but for fun's sake, we'll say he just set the fastest Sector 1 right now. So he's looking very steady through here. Everyone seems to have learned from watching the T1 race and adding just a little bit extra rear downforce so you're not sliding ground as much. It's looking very good. Coming to the end of Sector 2 here. Getting a little close to the wall, but not too close. Yeah, with his first lap, you really can't trust if it's a purple sector at all. But he's pushing. He's going. Looking like it's going to be a very quick lap as well. Should definitely put him into the top 10 here. As that puts him P3 with a 142.8. Now time to check in on Marchena, who I believe is the next person on flying lap. He may have backed out or may have had a moment somewhere I may have missed. He is really far off the time here. Oh, into the pit he goes. So that should put Mr. Bidome as the next person to cross the line, and he is also into the pits. So I believe that's going to be our championship leader, who was just crossed with a 143.3 and puts him currently P9. Looks like Hennis should be our next person on a flying lap. I believe. But I think everyone else. Yep. And another in the pits retirement. Wonder if they're just not thinking they can get any more and would rather save the tires, or if it's just not worth that extra 2-3 tenths on it. But hit us with the DRS open to start his lap. As it slams shut going into turn 1. Not riding too much curb there, staying very steady on his entry here. Looking very good on exit, making sure to avoid any kind of wall contact. He had a very nice exit. He's making sure he does not touch that wall at all or get too close to track limits here. He wants to make sure this lap goes down, as he is currently a little over 2.5 tenths up right now and has the fastest Sector 1. Officially. He's keeping this very tidy lap, avoiding the Charles Leclerc moment. That is the end of qualifying, as he is now almost 6 tenths up on his previous lap and set 2 fastest sectors so far. He's gunning for that provisional pole. DRS is about to wide. Yep. DRS wide's open. Getting close to the wall to get there. And Hennis takes provisional pole by 4 tenths. Now let's check in on Justin. What does he have to respond here? He's got a little under. Oh, he's got 5 tenths here, so I think Justin's about to clap back. Looking for an Aston Martin provisional pole at the moment. DRS opens. And those extra couple miles an hour. He crosses the line and takes pole back. Next across the line is Villeneuve, who goes P3. Next we'll have Craig crossing. Where is he going to go? As he is going into the pits. I believe that puts our next as Northern, who is also going into the pits. That's Sparkplug going across the line, and he remains 13th. I think our last guy is Dr. J, but he is not on a lap currently. So that wraps up qualifying as Justin takes P1 with a 141.9. Hennis P2 with a 142.2, and Villeneuve P3 with a 142.3. So to wrap up our final qualifying order, just to reiterate, Justin P1, Hennis P2, Villeneuve P3. Finishing up, we have Craig P4, Tar Heels P5, Joe Bidome P6, Butler P7, Marchena P8, Finception P9, Northern Canuck 10th, Dutch 11th, DRS 12th, Sparkplug 13th, Rusty 14th, and wrapping up the grid, they call me Dr. J in 15th and Heiscran in 16th. So, going off of how Tier 1 played out, I'm going to make a couple predictions here. A, we are not going to know the true net positions until probably the last 3 to 4 laps of the race. Everyone's going to be on completely different strategies to each other with the combinations of possible safety cars and possible VSCs. There's really no telling. There's really no telling what the best strategy is or what everyone's going to run, whether they chose the balanced compound set of tires or if they chose the softer compound set of tires for the weekend. So that'll make a huge difference going around the grid here. And as we saw in qualifying, there's quite a decent gap in pace as a lot of people retired early in qualifying. I'm assuming that's to just save tires as they got their lap down to get their setup. They got a hot lap just to get a rough estimate of their time, figure out if there's anything they really need to change in their overall approach to the coming session, and just use the rest to watch everyone else. I can definitely say from experience and some of the practice I ran before the race for G1 today that I watched one of Bass's lap, and then when I went back out, it dropped five tenths, not even due to just track involution, just due to me approaching my line differently. So it could be for some people are doing it strategically for other reasons aside from tires, maybe to see where some of their competitors are gaining on them and where their lines and braking and throttle inputs differ to whoever is in front of them. We're going to have a decent little break here as strategies are going to take quite a minute to get ready. Fuel load is going to be, in my opinion, fuel load is one of the trickiest things to guess. Because if you play it safe, you typically end up with too many laps of extra fuel, and it's always those races that you take it easy, you end up with no fuel. But that's 5 red lights, and they are out. That is, oh, Dutch with a drive-through. But that is T2 underway with Justin with a commanding start off the line there. It is remaining P2. And everyone else staying pretty tidy going into the couple back as it gets a little squirrely back here. But remaining tight as there's a couple passes. Haas team staying too wide going into the, this turn 3 here. Oh! And that's a wing lost for Bydome, and that will put him at the back of the field. I don't know if that'll be a VSC, but Justin's still with his lead, and already a 1 second gap on Hennis. Hennis with, I believe that's a 1 second gap on his teammate Craig, which I missed Craig getting past Villeneuve. But that puts McLaren in a very good spot as that's Villeneuve out of the race. I wouldn't even call that commentator's curse. That's just very unfortunate. He had a very good qualifying there, and if I'm not mistaken, he is. Let me check the tier 2 standings so that way I can be specific here. Yeah, he was P2 at the championship and had a good chance to take some points from Finception today, so that has got to sting for Villeneuve. But that brings out our first VFC on lap 1. I wonder if anybody will go ahead and take the sneaky pit stop, put on a different set of tires, just go ahead and get it out of the way. Let it go over the order. We'll see positions gained, if I can figure this out again. So our 2 biggest winners so far being the Aston, a Sparkplug, and Rusty gaining 4 positions apiece here, with Heiscran gaining 3 as well. That's Justin, Hennis, and Marchena into the pits, along with, ooh, let me give it just a second, I'll list everybody off here. So that's Dutch, Justin, Hennis, Marchena, DRS, Butler, Heiscran, Dr. J, and Bydome into the pits here. Dutch, unfortunately, is going to have to come into the pits once this VSC is over again to serve that drive-through from the jump start. As Hennis now gets a speeding under the VSC. And that's another drive-through. And let me check the race director, see what happened to Craig here. Craig also speeding under. And Justin, that was all of your podium runners just a second ago with drive-through. So that is 4 drivers within 2 laps with a drive-through already in this race. That is something you don't see very often. Northern Canuck up 7 places. Sparkplug and Rusty now up 8 apiece. Justin down 7. Hennis down 7. And both, unfortunately, about to have to drop more. Dutch as well. Dutch is up 4 places, but is probably going to lose all 4 of those places in the process in this coming couple laps. Craig right now is your provisional leader, but he does not have the net lead. Currently, your net leader is Tar Heel, who had a very, very good race in Tier 1 up until the last couple races, or last couple laps, and just had an unfortunate accident. But he is looking to make up for that and get his own win in his own tier today. He said, I got my practice, I know what I need to do, and I will be taking this today. So let's go ahead and check. Stop so far. So far, your top 7 have not pit. Dutch now serving his drive-through. Justin also serving his drive-through. And is trying to make a gap, and same with Craig, also trying to make a gap to anybody else behind him. But I'd say that puts Marchena in a good place here. He's not too far behind everybody, and if he keeps up this pace, so then that's a caution. What have I missed here? And that is Dutch, who was having a really good... Oh, an unlucky start that has unfortunately just gotten worse. And let me get... Where is it? Let me go ahead and get penalties up just to have it in for right now. I'll put tires up once those drive-thrus are put down. Or once those drive-thrus are settled in the pits. But looking good right now. It's very, very close between Tar Heel and Northern here. Or, sorry, between Northern and Finception here. Is this the battle for the final podium position right here? Technically, this is net P2. So, your net podium leaders fighting. As Craig is just bumping fastest as Tar Heel bumps the fastest lap from him. And that's Finception getting past Northern there to take net P2. And sets the fastest lap of the race, I believe. And he is off, your championship leader, looking to push and take the win and continue building his championship lead here. Now let's check in. That's Rusty getting past Sparkplug with DRS. Very clean move there. As Bidome takes the fastest lap on the soft side for right now. Looks like there's another battle going on down here. Looks like this is between Justin and DRS. Justin with DRS. A little bit tight here. And gets the move done before the corner is over. He's on to push to look to try to get as many positions back as he can on this tire. So as we know, Craig hits his drive-through, so I'm going to go ahead and take the penalties off and put it on tires for right now. Once everyone pits again, I'll switch it to stops. Oh, and we have an incident here. I believe that's Dr. J. Is there any damage? From what I can see, there's no damage. He may have just gone wide there. Well, it looks like it's really close here. A little bit of a train forward through the tight corners here. We got DRS and Hennis as our two closest on track right now. As we saw earlier, we know Justin and Hennis are probably podium contenders at the moment. We really can't guess. I don't really want to put any predictions or anything on that, as Craig finally comes in to do his drive-through. Wonder if that wasn't the best move, because he's still going to have to pit again in the next couple laps. Again, I don't know their strategies, but that's Sparkplug also in. I wonder if he's going to go ahead and get off the medium tire. DRS is in as well. Or no, Marchena and Hennis are also in. My bad, it was not DRS into the pits, but Tar Heel no longer has the net lead and has the actual lead of this race. Finception, P2. Northern, P3, Rusty, P4, Craig, P5. Then rounding out the points, you have Butler, P6, Justin, P7, DRS, P8, and Highscran, P9, Bidome, P10. Sparkplug and Dr. J and Hennis all very close here, as Dr. J looks to get the move done without the assistance of DRS. And has it done before the corner's up. But that now puts Sparkplug under... Ooh, as Jay saves it there. And a lockup. Ooh, it's getting close through here. But that puts Sparkplug under heavy pressure from Hennis here, as they're now in their same lap of tire. And Hennis is going to be looking to get past here. As Dutch also has a moment behind them. Oh, and that's Marchena out. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate for the Haas team today. Down another driver. Or down their first driver of the day. But that brings out a full course safety car, so I believe that's going to be everybody coming into the pits here. So now we are going to check positions gains. I'm going to watch as everyone comes. Actually, we'll leave tires on, and we'll see from there. Let's see. Let's Tar Heel, let everyone go in their pits. Set it all out with, looks like we have a few that may have stayed out here. Actually, I don't think anybody did. I think everybody went to the pits. Yes, everybody went into the pits here. So I believe Sparkplug. Oh, Sparkplug and Hinnis are also, yep. Everyone is just going to take the free safety cars. I must have not seen that. Dutch lost his wing as well. But your provisional podium for the moment is Tar Heels as your leader, your championship leader Finception in P2, and Rusty in P3. Wrapping up your top 5, you have Craig in P4 and Butler in P6 or P5. And in the top 10 right now, aside from the pair of the Mercedes, there are 9 different constructors in the top 10 right now. This is going to be a good day for point spread here. But your podium runners are on the medium tire. Craig in 4th is on the hard. As Hinnis just went past Dr. J. I don't know if he went off or maybe just a late reading there. As I wonder if Sparkplug just had a moment there. We'll probably have one more lap of this safety car before it goes green. Alright, so Hinnis. Let's see. Let me check. Okay, so Hinnis. So Hinnis has already pulled off 3 stops. As that is DRS into the pits again. I don't know if maybe he got damage, but I hope he knows that this won't count as a another pit stop, as I believe he already pit under this safety car. He did. So that stop will not count towards DRS's tally. He is still at 2 stops overall. But I think our 2 who are sitting in the best position right now are Butler and Justin, already having 2 stops already out of the way. So when everyone else pits for their 2nd stop, they will be pitting for their 3rd. And if that's accurate, which let me also check Hinnis to make sure that his weren't also under the same safety car. Lap 4. Okay, I think Hinnis is safe there. So I think Hinnis might be in the best position strategy-wise if he wants to only pit one more time after this and go long the rest of the race. He might be in a very good position here to just slap on a set of hard tires and say, you know what, guys? You guys can have your fun in the pits. I won't be joining you. So he might be in the best position here, as remember, DRS had made 2 pit stops under that safety car. So his 2nd stop, or his technical 3rd stop that it's reading, does not count for the AlphaTauri driver today. But I don't think Alpha Tower's too concerned about it. If he's got to make an extra couple pit stops, I think they're very much more concerned with it, Tar Heel winning the race and bringing some very, very valuable constructors points for them, as he is already off, as Finception had a weird moment there at the restart, and this really put him at a disadvantage with Rusty pushing hard. Looking behind is very close, but is that Craig maintaining it? Oh, a little bit of contact here. A little bit rough, and Tar Heel already has a 2-second gap. Keep going with the rest of the field. Looks like it's becoming all tidy through here. Nothing else is really happening. Go back to your podium fight here. As between second, third, and fourth, they are just very close to one wrong move under braking, and that's two people hit and they're out or two people hit and possibly out. I guess that's the majority of the grid right now, actually. Except for Tar Heel. Tar Heel is making a commanding lead here, trying to create a gap to everyone else on his same strategy, who is not yet to pit a second time. So Rusty gaining the most positions here with 11 positions gained from the start. Inception with 7 and Tar Heel with 4. Hennis unfortunately losing 10 places, but he may be in one of the better positions, as that looks like he's missing a front wing end plate. So he's going to have to pit again, and this should be his final pit stop of the race. So I assume he's probably going to put those starts on and try to be a tire whisperer the rest of the race. Put it on the tires for right now. As that's Bidome and Northern out of the race here with a huge pileup in the middle of the track. That's both Haas drivers out for today, and then unfortunately that's another not another Mercedes, but that is the first Mercedes retirement of today as well. That brings out our second safety car, and Rusty seems to have lucked out here, maybe with a little bit of a glitchy pit stop connection-wise, but was able to undercut strategy-wise both Finception and Tar Heels to get that extra stop. So we're going to switch back to stops here. So, as I was saying earlier, Hennis no longer has to stop, if I'm not mistaken. His 4 stops are accurately completed within 9 laps, which definitely isn't fun, as Dutch gets another speeding under safety car penalty. Obviously the last one was under VSC, but still safety car-ish conditions, so it will work. And Rusty with 1 as well. And unfortunately, these pit stops or these penalties are not going to be able to get removed. So the advantage that Rusty just gained there by pitting under the safety car may have, commentator's curse, as Rusty pulls a Leclerc and is out of the session. Alfa Romeo as a constructor is now out of the Baku Grand Prix. And that puts us at 5 retirements so far today. So I believe that's going to be Tar Heels into the pit. That should be Finception into the pits. Icecran, DRS, Dr. J. I think we'll all be pulling into the pits. Check Butler. Butler will not be. Justin, Craig, and everybody else won't be as well. So Finception makes the call to stay out on his medium tires. Icecran also decided to stay out. DRS stayed out. Dr. J stayed out. Tar Heels made his stop. Butler made his stop on lap 8. So did Justin. So did Craig, some Sparkplug, and Dutch. As Hennis pits again. I wonder what's going on. Oh, he switches to the medium tire. I think he'd rather do 15, 16 laps on that tire instead, which is understandable, but the hard tires probably would have been the better choice. But I digress. As we check in, and I will go over the order again. Alpine is leading this race with Finception. Ferrari in second with Heiskran. DRS in third. AlphaTauri in third with DRS. Mercedes in fourth with They Call Me Dr. J. Fifth, AlphaTauri, Tar Heels. AlphaTauri looking like they are going to be scoring some of the better points at the moment. Red Bull holding P6 with Butler. 7th held by Aston Martin with Justin. 8th held by Craig and the McLaren. 9th held by the Aston Martin Sparkplug. 10th held by the Red Bull of Dutch. And 11th held by the McLaren of Hennis. At the start of the race, you would not have thought that Craig and Hennis would be outside of the top 5 within the first 10 laps. I wouldn't have thought that Villeneuve or Rusty would have been out either. So, I didn't want to say it, but who I was really hoping and predicting would win today was Villeneuve, as he's put me a couple of tight spots when I raced in Tier 2 last season, so I want to see him get his much-deserved win in Tier 2. As that is Dr. J into the pits again to go on to the soft compound tire. Dutch will have to pit again under once the safety car has ended to serve his drive-through. Or is it a 5-second? Drive-through. Yep. So Dutch unfortunately is net P11. As Hennis pits again for the hard tire. He's pulling big brain moves. Something here I'm not understanding, but he knows what he's doing. I may not understand the genius of this McLaren driver today, but I think there's something up his sleeve here with these hard tires, and I think that may have finally been his final pit stop, even though I've said that probably 3 times now. But that should wrap him up with 14 or 15 laps on that hard compound tire to the end of the race, which he should be set up as your leader. Finception still has 3 more stops to make. Heiskran with 2, DRS with 2, Tar Heels with 2, W Butler, Justin both with 1, Craig with 2, Sparkplug and Dutch, and They Call Me Dr. J also with 1 more pit each. So, knock on wood, and hopefully this is loud enough. He's got this, hopefully. He should have the McLaren driver should have this in the McLaren driver of Hennis should have this in the bag. That is my commentary prediction today, and very, very hopefully not my commentator's curse. He does not have to pit again. He is on the hard tire, and everybody else in front of him has to pit. Regardless of how far off he falls off everybody, most of them have to make multiple pit stops. The genius here of having some very, very bad luck at the beginning of the race and turning some bad luck and making it the expression of when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And it looks like he is trying to make himself a sour glass of lemonade for some sweet, sweet victory. But enough about my personal hopes for the race. Yes, he did, but before the safety car came out, I'm pretty sure before this safety car even came out, that he already had his 4 stops done. So even if he didn't, his first stop under this safety car would have then been, if I'm not mistaken. You may be right, but I believe he's already made all of the pit stops that he needs, because he pit lap 1, lap 4, lap 5, which the safety car came out on lap 5, lap 8, which was the next safety car, lap 9, which was during the same safety car, so he's technically at a 2 stop. And that's what I'm very curious too, as to why Finception hasn't stopped again yet. I really do hope that Finception is going to finish this off. I don't think he's just going to stay out and pull a Alex Albon-esque kind of move and just make a bunch of pits the last couple laps. That doesn't, in my opinion, that doesn't really bide well as a strategy. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to make 3 more stops in the next 14, 15 laps. This is going to be a very curious one for our championship leader. He may have just squandered himself some points. Exactly, Gord. It has been mentioned way too many times for anybody to forget. So if anybody forgets, I feel a lot of the rest of the league has no sympathy for them. The admins did one heck of a job reminding everybody and letting everyone know, so it's on the drivers themselves, as he is away on our safety car restart. And it looks like he didn't get anybody by too much, but not a bad start from him. As they're getting a little squirmy in the back here, everyone's trying to jockey for positions here, trying to see what they can get, if they can outbrake anybody. AlphaTauri needs to play it smart here. Let Tar Heels by, as he is the obvious contender for the win here. But he still has 2 more stops to make as well. But so does his teammate, so I guess they're kind of in an even boat here. As that looks like Butler's trying to make the same move, but decides of it. And that is commentator's curse on Tar Heel, as I believe that's... Looks like he doesn't have any damage, but that has lost him the position he gained. But Finception already created his DRS gap that he needed to Heiskran. Heiskran holding up Butler pretty well at the moment, as that's Dutch out of the race as well. This is just an unfortunate day for Tier 2. A lot of guys are just having some very, very bad luck today. As we all know, Baku's a very tricky track, and this strategy's probably not helping, but I know everyone's pushing as hard as they can to try to make the most out of these tires and get the most out of everything, and I know it just hurts to hit the wall like that, knowing you have the pace. Yes, I 100% agree there. That the safety car definitely saved Tar Heel's mistake there. But this may benefit Hennis here, as everyone here is going to try to look for the cheeky pit stop, and he's going to be able to take the lead here. So that's if everything is, if I've been calling it right on his pit stops, he should stay out, and he will have clear air for the restart. But he may pit just in case to put on mediums, but nope, he stays out. And so does Dr. J. Interesting call. He could have ended it here and gone on to, I don't know what tires he used, but if he has a set left, he could have gone on to a set of mediums here and finished out the race. But that puts Hennis as your net leader right now, with Dr. J still having to make a pit stop. Yes. This is going to be very tricky for him. He's going to have to pit pretty much. He's going to have to run 6 laps on this tire, pit again, and then that's still not going to be enough. Yeah, this is going to be a weird one for him. I really don't know. I, I I don't know. That one's got me left kind of speechless. Um, he may be big branding. He may. I may not see it. He may just be having that Galaxy Brain meme, and I'm over here just caveman Patrick with a stick in the ground. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's still 12, 13 laps left in this race, and anything can happen. This is more than likely our final safety car with possibly one more VSC, I believe. Yeah, it's not a bad call there. I agree there, Gord. I agree there. Pitting as a safety car ends, and then pitting again at lap 20. Yep, definitely not a bad call. But DRS still is going to have to pit again, as remember, one of his stops from earlier was under safety car. Or one of his stops was a second stop under safety car, just to be clear on my words there. I believe that Justin is good strategy-wise. Butler and Sparkplug are also good with their strategy. So I think the only 4 drivers who do not have to make any more pit stops are, excuse me, one second. I believe the 4 drivers who don't have to make any more pit stops this race are the McLaren in P2 of Hennis, the Aston Martin in P6 of Justin, the Red Bull in P8 of Butler, and the Aston Martin in P9 of Sparkplug. So I think this is going to look like a very good day for the Aston Martin team in a constructor's sense of, if they don't have to pit again, this should give them a very good advantage here. Again, I'm guessing. I can't keep checking looking at the director. It gets a little confusing trying to check everybody's in, remembering what lap each safety car was, because after a few, now this being our 3rd one, and some of them being longer, and people getting damaged in the safety car and having to pit again, and not intentionally adding that stop, but to make sure that they don't lose out too much time and saving that stop for after. So if my predictions are correct, there's 4 drivers who have already finished their strategy, as I've already mentioned. The AlphaTauri of DRS, it may say that he has, but his is definitely not. He's technically only on 3 stops. Finception still is the biggest question mark here. Even though we're about to go green, I'm really not as curious as to when Dr. J is gonna pit, or Craig, or Tar Heel, or anybody else who's really sitting on a 3 stop. But Finception's really drawing my curiosity here. By no means am I trying to put anything negative in the air. I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out for him. Because everybody else either has 1 more stop or no stops left. So him having to make 2, that's an extra 17 seconds or more he's going to have to make up on everybody else. But as we look at Dr. J here and everybody else behind, as everyone's bunching up, safety car is not yet in the pits. We'll have to remember the Max Verstappen rule that got put into effect after 21. You have to be behind the car, or behind the leading car. As Dr. J gets a decent launch here, and before turn 1 is looking like he's going to have 6 to 7 tenths settled on corner exit. As he has what sounds like a major lockup here. It's a little squirrely getting down here, but everyone seems to be maintaining position, not trying to lose out much. But Dr. J on those soft compound tire, who's also been the biggest gainer today of 14 positions. Like I said, he's still got 1 more stop, but that is still impressive in and of itself. But let's go to the tires and check out how everybody's sitting here. Dr. J on 5-lap-old softs, Innes on 6-lap-old hards, Finception on 2-lap-old mediums, Heiscran on 2-lap-old softs, Justin 2-lap-old mediums, DRS on 6-lap-old hards, Craig on 5-lap-old hard, or DRS on 6-lap-old mediums, Craig on 5-lap-old hards, Butler on 3-lap-old hards, Sparkplug on 2-lap-old softs, and Tar Heel, who got saved by that safety car, on 2-lap-old softs as well. But Hennis staying in DRS here, same with Inception. Looks like nobody's really pulled out of DRS here except for Sparkplug on Tar Heel, which Tar Heel said, "You're not leaving me out of this," and regains being in, as that's now DRS Maestro who's fallen out of DRS and has a big moment on corner exit there. Dr. J trying to put up a decent gap, trying to break the DRS before it's open in the next couple laps, as he has. And I think Kenneth is just going to buy his time here, as that's Heiscran, Inception into the pits. So we'll see when he pits again, but as Heiscran goes wide and hits the wall, that's another, Craig goes wide as well. That's a little bit of a moment, but that puts, looks like Heiscran's trying to go for P2 here. Very close here, and as that's a caution. And that's, they call me Dr. J having a Sebastian Vettel moment, I believe from 22. But that puts Hennis as your leader. Heiscran P2, Justin P3, and I will switch back to the stops now. So, looks like Justin's in a very good position here and is gonna want to get past Heiscran as quickly as he can. Heiscran, Craig, DRS, Tar Heel, Dr. J, and Finception are all gonna want to pit again, as that's Dr. J out, and that brings out a VSC. So that's gonna put Hennis and Justin in a very, Hennis, Justin, W Butler, and Sparkplug in a very good position here, because none of them are gonna have to pit. I don't see Hennis pitting, but I think if he does, it's not going to hurt him anyways, because he's going to be going on to a faster compound of tires. I think he still has a medium from earlier that he only put maybe a lap or two on under safety car. So about 7-8 laps. It's very doable on the softs, but your rears are going to be dying at that point. But it looks like he's saying, I'm going to stay out on the hards. Heiscran staying out as well and not taking the cheeky pit stop. Justin stays out, and but oh, that's why. Because the VSC was ending. DRS is also enabled. Heiscran looking for a move, but thinks otherwise. Craig making contact with Butler, and then DRS making contact with Craig, and that creating a huge pile up in the back here. DRS having no front wing now. What about Butler? He should be good to keep on. But Heiscran, Tar Heel, Craig, and DRS are all definitely going to have to pit again. Finception as well, which, again, he had a very promising chance for the win here as our championship leader, and he may retain it today. I'm still not 100% familiar with the point spread, but I don't believe he is going to remain the championship leader after this strategy today. But he has put up a heck of a showing with pace, and he hasn't seemed to really put a foot wrong. I think he kind of just had a brain fart during the race and was realizing that he had some pace and just wanted to keep first and forgot. But that's Heiscran moving into the lead here. Justin also trying to put Hennis under pressure here. As that spark plug getting past Craig, as Craig pulls into the pits to do his fourth and final stop, and so does DRS. So I think with Heisgrand pushing the way he is, this is going to be his in lap. I think he got past knowing he needs to make up whatever gap he can to anybody behind him, and so that way when he comes out, he has fresh tires and has the best chance at making up positions with his next stop. But that puts Justin as your provisional leader right now, not having to stop again. Hennis as your provisional P2, and that should also have Sparkplug as your provisional P3, with Tar Heel also needing to do his fourth stop. But it's staying very close, and Justin is looking to go ahead and make the move before the lap is over. Looks like the hards on Hennis are starting to fall off a little bit as well, too. Ice ran out of battery, so I believe that means he's going to be pitting this lap, and that's going to give Justin DRS here. Justin has DRS. Hennis does not. So Justin is about to build his lead from here on and does not have to pit again. So let's see what happens here. Hennis also doesn't have a pit, so this is going to be who can maintain their tires the most, which it's looking like Justin wants to go ahead and create his gap now. Hennis is not going to let him do that. Tar Heel still has to pit again. And Sparkplug trying to get as close as he can before that pit happens. Butler also already made his stop. Inception also has to stop again. Looks like he's trying to make the move on Butler. And he has it done before the corner. So if me and Gord have any kind of call on this, he may be in a better position to pit this lap and still have a chance to get 8th or possibly just 8th, yeah. Unfortunately, it's looking like Finception may finish 9th in this race, but not due to a lack of trying and not due to putting any kind of foot wrong or a lack of pace. Just, we'll find out more after the race, but I think, like I said earlier, he might have just had a brain fart for a little bit, forgetting that it was a 4-stop. Or maybe just thought that this would be a little bit quicker than everyone else who wasn't expecting everyone to pit under the safety car. But Justin still maintaining that gap to Justin, or Justin's maintaining his DRS gap to Hennis. Hennis has already created a 5, almost 6-second lead to Tar Heel as well. And Tar Heel has done almost the same to Sparkplug, but I believe Tar Heel should have to come in one more time still. I hope he knows that. But I think he'll probably come in next lap and run 4 laps on the softs instead. As Finception now pits as well. And of course, onto the soft compound tire for the last 5 laps. As it seems to be a very long pit stop. I don't know if maybe he had wing damage and the camera just wouldn't show it. And a very unusually long pit stop there that's going to cost him any chance at getting positions back. But worth the shot to do whatever he could to get points. And he still will be scoring points today. So as long as he finishes this race, regardless, he is putting points on the board. But we check back in with your race leader as Sparkplug. There's a DNFs. What happened? Aww. That's very unfortunate. But that puts Heisgrand as your provisional 3rd place sitter here. Again, Tar Heel still has to pit. I'm wondering if he's trying to make up that 17-second, 18-second gap before he pits to try to stay out in front of Heiscran. But with how it's looking, I don't think that's going to be a possibility because as I've said this, Heiscrant's dropped 3, almost 4/10 of a second on Tar Heel. So he's going to need to pit and pit soon. And yep, pits the slap. But that's going to put Heiscran as your... I don't think it's really going to be close on exit. I think he's got this kind of nailed down to have P3 here. I think it's going to be really close on exit with Butler, though. So let's check. And Butler also has Tar Heel, but Tar Heel is now on the fresher tire for the last 4 laps. So he has the chance here to push and get P4, maybe get P3. There is a chance. But it's a very, very big ask for the amount of laps left. Don't ever want to count anything out, as that's Vinception having a brake magic moment there. And it is just not getting any better, unfortunately. But that puts him P8 for points still with the spark plug retirement. So everyone has completed their pit stops. Everyone's completed the 4 necessary under different safety, whether that's under different safety cars or not under safety cars at all. But all 4 have been completed as far as I can tell. As Justin is just creating a commanding lead on those. Is he on the soft or the... Go ahead and pull the tires up now that we don't have to worry about stops anymore. Heiscran up 13 places. Very, very impressive drive there. But Justin making a very good impression here on those medium tires, looking just very, very comfortable. Heiscran on 3-lap-old softs has created a bigger gap to Butler. It looks like Tar Heel's getting the move done on Butler before the braking to take P4 for AlphaTauri. They're all kind of spreading out a little bit now. There's really no one's within DRS anymore, so unless someone has kind of moment or someone finds some miracle pace, I don't think that just Tar Heel's gap for a second before I say anything else, but yeah, I think this is gonna be, like I was saying, you gotta wait till the last 3 or 4 laps to really figure out net positions. But I think this may end up being our final order already. As Justin is just creating a bigger and bigger gap on Hennis, and he is at a point now to where, since he has 4 laps younger, not only on his tires, but they are a softer compound. With the gap that he has, he should be able to cruise, let off, and coast, and not take any chances these next couple laps, and be able to just cruise to victory here. Hennis with one heck of a comeback drive to take P2 back after a couple of very unlucky moments at the first half of the race. But since then, he's done everything he can, aside from that one wall tap under safety car, to make up everything he can, as Tar Heels is just pulling time out. I may be wrong. That is always why I try to say something to change it. But he has pulled out a lot of time here and is looking to close up on Heiscran and take the final podium position. He said, if I'm not going to be on the top step, I'm going to be on one of those steps in general. And that is what he is pushing for today, as Craig gets past W. Butler and puts McLaren in a very good spot point scoring wise, with provisionally 2nd and 5th. But I think W. Butler's not going to let that go easy, but I think Being on the 11 lap old hards, he doesn't really have a choice here. I think Craig's just going to have the chance to pull away until the end of Sector 2. Unless Butler has the battery advantage. But in case they're all listening, I don't really look at that unless it's qualifying, just to be on the safe side. As we've checked in a few times, Justin is just creating a bigger and bigger commanding lead here, almost at 10 seconds. Hennis has also made almost a 10-second to his closest, so these two can really just let off and take it easy. They don't have to push anymore, and they can just coast to an easy P1 and P2 and some very nice secure points for the day. But Tar Heel here is our man on a mission. He went from being, if I'm not mistaken, when I started talking about him at 6.5 seconds away from Highscreen. There's only a 2-lap difference in their tire difference here. And this man has brought 5 seconds in 3-4 laps here. He is pushing. Sparkplug, that was a very, very unfortunate moment for you. You had a very good chance to potentially be on the podium here. And you and Justin would have had some very, very good constructor points. Yep, that's a very, very tricky one. The Tar Heel, now within DRS. Let's see what he can do. He's probably going to play it safe and not make the move throughout the rest of Sector 2. And probably going to wait until Sector 3 to make his move. Play it safe and not make any mistakes here. Want to wrap up this race with the podium with as many points as he can get. And risking a move in this sector, I just don't think is the move for him today. You can tell Highscreen is trying to focus a lot more on his corner entry. Tar Heel is focusing a lot more on his corner exit. Alright, let's start watching for the battle for our final podium position here. Let's see if he's going to get the move done. Side by side. DRS isn't even open yet. Finally has DRS, but the move is already done, so this just adds insult to injury for Highscreen, just watching his podium fall out of his hands. And again, to kind of like I said with Finception, not because he put a foot wrong, just he has the pace and just someone else is just unfortunately quicker. Let's see if he can make anything back. If he can stay in this DRS range, he may have a chance to take it back, as that is Hennis also pulling the Vettel. So Tar Heel and Highscreen are now back on the podium together. And this is a fight for P2. Very, very unfortunate for the McLaren driver, as that was going to be some very solid points in P2 and P5, as it's now P4 and P5 provisionally. Well, let's check in on Tar Heel, as he is still leading over Highscreen, but Highscreen is bouncing and bungeeing in and out of that DRS range. He is doing everything he can, and with it being the last lap, you know what, guys? We are going to look. Tar Heel has been saving his battery for this moment, and unfortunately, very, very unfortunately, Highscreen is not. So Tar Heel has been waiting and waiting, knowing he needed to save it to maximize his points today, and had a comeback. But right now, this moment isn't about Tar Heel. This is about our Aston Martin driver, Justin, who crosses the line to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with a commanding 17-second lead, with a comeback drive of his own after what could have been a race ender with that safety car coming out. Tar Heel P2, Highscreen also with the comeback in P3 after that disconnection in quali. Highscreen Hennis, unfortunately, P4 after that Vettel moment. Cost him P2. Craig P5. And again, a little bit unfortunate with this quali, but I don't think they'll complain about a 4th and 5th for overall results. Butler P6. DRS P7 and Finception, our championship leader, unfortunately going to cross the line as our last car finishing today. Still finishing 8th and getting some good points in the bag for him and his constructor, but gotta blow a little bit knowing that you're losing your championship lead as you're crossing the line. So if I was him, I would be in no rush to cross this line right now. But he crosses the line, and that wraps up our race. That was, yeah, this is why T2 always deserves a commentator. They always put on a heck of a show for us to watch. And that's P3 with a default setup. Heck of a job, man. I wish we could have seen the pace you would have had if you had qualified and had your setup. You and Justin might have been up there pulling away from everyone. But again, heck of a drive from all the drivers here. Heck of a drive to Justin today, who just had a commanding race. Tar Heel, who, if he hadn't have had that mistake before, hadn't had that mistake right before the safety car, probably could have challenged Justin a little more. But regardless, I know he is happy with that P2. And as we just saw Heiscran say in the comments, he is thrilled about P3 coming from not only 16th and that being last on the grid for today, but using a default setup after a disconnection in quali. So let's go through your grid order and where they started. Justin started first, finished first. Heck of a weekend for the Aston Martin driver and exactly what he would have wanted at the start of the race. Tar Heels, P5 is where he started and he finished P2, gaining 3 positions. And I'm going to have to wrap this up quickly. So I'll do your top 10. Sorry to everybody else. But Icecran 16th, finished 3rd. Hennis 2nd, finished 4th. Craig 4th, finished 5th. Butler 7th, finished 6th. DRS 12th, finished 7th. And Finception 9th, finished 8th. Everybody else, unfortunately, DNF'd. And let's get the... I don't know if I need to get the race director or not. I think I should have time. I didn't get all of them. But I believe we should still have the stats. So, to the admin team, if I missed up, if that was my mistake, my apologies. I completely forgot and was just very excited going over the order. But yeah, that is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for PRL's T2. That ends round 3, and we will catch you guys next Sunday. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great week coming up.